And nowadays, the relationship has everything to do with his happiness. So I want to see him smiling as much as I can, because I know there are going to be days where he's in pain.
Yeah.
He's nauseated. He's doing this, and we probably got to take him to the ER. He's probably going to be in there a couple of days or so. So now I take it upon myself to make sure that that relationship stays close by just being present.
Yeah.
The company is everything to him, especially since he's at home 6 days a week, not really doing nothing. Yeah, it's
Did his vision decline over time, or was it more surprise than expected?
it was a surprise after we found out what it was. It was him not taking care of his diabetes. So when it happened, he was already kind of losing his sight. When we found out he was legally blind, he had got into an accident. He ran into the back of a water truck, and like tore his car up. And we found out he was legally blind after that. So after that, he still kind of had his vision, technically, but over time it started getting a little more dim. And eventually it went from I can see images with a lot of light to like just a black spot.
Let's get it. Welcome to the Dear Son Show. This is a conversation about fatherhood. It's for fathers, those with fathers, and the fatherless, so nobody's left out. The premise is these are conversations that I would want my son to have access to as he grows through life and becomes a man. As you're listening to this and something resonates with you or rattles your spirit, let us know in the comments. Like and follow right now so that we can get the show going. The show gets better when there's more than just me. Today there is a very, very, very special guest. We got an artist, and not just an artist because they book time in the studio, an artist because they are legit. We got the good brother Poetré, more affectionately known as Poe. Welcome to the Dear Son Show. How are you, my brother?
I am phenomenal on this great Friday. How you doing?
I'm fantastic, man. Phenomenal is a great place to start.
Yes, sir.
Because I heard your music. And of course, we met in the studio where I have a partnership, Banker Boy Studio, partnership with my guy James.
Yes, sir.
Salute to him.
Shout out.
Engineer extraordinaire. It's hard to explain in words what he does to music, and then when you got good talent, it can only be great. So that's how I met him. It was refreshing because usually I leave the studio when people come in because I can't really hold my face. But yours was a pleasant surprise, man. So we'll get into the music for sure. But but first we got to address that accent, bro. Where you from?
From Monroe, Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Washington, Paris, 318. What's up?
Washington, Paris. What was life like there, man?
I mean, it was. I actually moved to Texas rather early, but it's just a little country place we call home.
Yeah,
a place where you can go home, get some good cooking,
I like it.
Meet some good people. Of course, it's the South and it's Louisiana, so it's gonna be crazy. But for the most part, it's love, man. Yeah. It's a place of love.
Good people, good food, love. Sounds like a very family oriented environment. Let's talk about your family dynamics, man. What was your household like growing up?
Ooh, okay, that's great. So that's actually a deeper question. Now I'm gonna go from both sides. My dad's side, they didn't really like it. Wasn't that close.
Okay.
So even still to this day, I may still learn about somebody new, every other couple months or so. But, relationship with my grandfather, my uncle, his family, it's cool. So my dad came in, with that known to be a family, but not the closeness. My mom's side, huge family, 7 girls, 1 boy. All of them got kids. Some of the kids got kids.
Okay.
And we all close.
Gotcha.
Still to this day. Some down here in Dallas, some still in Louisiana, some in Houston, all over the place, but we know to stay together. So those two entities, my mom and my dad, when they came together, it was like the best of both worlds, really.
Gotcha.
So the impactment that they use into me and my brother had everything to do with their upbringing. So with me and my brother, both sides are really strong in music. My dad, they play instruments. My mom's side, they sing. So they started us young.
Yeah.
And the way that we grew up, going back to your question, was literally in love and music.
Yeah.
Everything love, creativity, and music.
Okay.
My mom was not afraid to have us get in front of people and sing and play and stuff like that. Other than that, like we were just like some music driven people, if that even makes sense.
Yeah.
That's the way they raise us. Fun fact, my father, from the day that me and my brother were born, I can count on how many hands, how many times I went to sleep without listening to jazz.
Really?
Still to this day.
Who's your favorite artist? What style?
The favorite style, that's hard. I would say smooth jazz only because that's the lane that we came up in. But bringing older age into characteristics, man, big band. It could be instrumental jazz, straight vocal, choir jazz. Like it's a lot of it, man, and it's crazy. But they literally brought us up like that. So like music had to be a part of who we were.
Gotcha.
So everything that we did, my dad was a musician. Sunday church, Monday rehearsal, Wednesday Bible study, Thursday rehearsal, Saturday maybe a rehearsal, back to Sunday. So music was every day always. So that's how we grew up. To me, that's one of the greatest ways to grow up.
Yeah. Who had the greater influence on your musical style? Was it your mom with the vocals or your dad with the instruments?
My dad.
Okay.
My dad. Well, for me, for the simple fact, like I said, my dad was a musician. Yeah. So with me being a drummer from a young age, my dad only wanted me playing behind him.
Gotcha.
So even going back to like when I was a child, like it could be some grown men in the congregation, of grown men wherever they were playing, and he wanted me to play behind him. So it's going to forever be him.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was playing with him.
Yeah.
Still to this day, I play with my dad.
Have you taken account of what that did for your confidence early on, or even today, with just him like handpicking you amongst other, I guess, capable and maybe more mature artists and musicians, but maybe subconsciously, I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely showed me family. Like you gotta have your family back.
Yeah.
Cause my dad, I was a child. My dad could have easily picked these other dudes that was like killing, like, but because I'm his son, family, like you gotta watch out for your own sometime.
Yeah.
And what it did for me was it brought me up as a musician and an artist.
Okay.
Because it's not always about who's better.
Okay.
More times it's just about, like I said, it's about like having your people back.
Yeah.
But it's also about interpretation. So, I mean, yeah, back then, like I'm his son, but at the same time, like now, I could make something that somebody better than me can make. For the simple fact that I know somebody wants to hear it. My dad wanted to hear me play this.
Gotcha.
Now, it's going to be somebody that wants to hear what I have.
Yeah.
And I think that there's no way you can lose like that.
Yeah. Did you start playing, and I'm genuinely curious, like, because I look at instruments, I don't necessarily pick them up and play them. Like I mess around with sequencing on the keyboard every now and then, but I've always admired people that play either by ear or whether they learn traditionally how to play. Were you too young to be nervous your first time playing? Like, do you remember?
I do not remember.
So
I literally, like, I'm talking about like on the drum set, you gotta not even sit on the drum stool. Like you kind of like backed up against it because your feet, you can't reach the pedal.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, I don't really remember. I just remember when I was a child wanting to play.
Yeah.
So there was a church that they already had a musician prior to us moving to Dallas. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really get to play, but I was always anxious to play.
Okay.
So anytime I saw he was late,
you was on it.
Daddy, I got you.
I got you. It was just you and your brother, right?
Yeah, me and my brother.
Where do you fall in the order of age?
I'm the oldest.
Oldest. Did your younger brother, did you feel like, did he follow in the footsteps?
Colder.
Really?
My brother's a beast.
Yeah. Was it natural or just because he was around it I don't know if he could have been around it more, but
So
that's the thing with him.
this is what my dad told me. He was like, I was like, man, I don't understand how Xavier is. My brother's name is Xavier.
Okay.
How he's so much better than me at everything.
Okay.
Like when it comes to singing, my brother's a dog. When it comes to rapping, my brother's a dog. When it comes to playing, my brother plays guitar. He plays keyboard. He plays trombone. He plays tuba.
Prodigy.
Yeah, I'm here. I just play drums and saxophone. Like this boy he's picking up everything. But my dad was like, maybe it's from learning from you.
I guess when you
And
got it, you got it.
when you thinking like that, yeah. But I mean, I'm just looking like even to this day, my brother has a lot of great stuff going for him. They're actually shopping him as an artist right now.
Wow.
He's had multiple deals on the table.
Okay.
But the team is looking for something. I look at that, I'm just like, dang, like, man, I can play too. I can play too. Like,
Yeah, his win is your win, man.
yeah,
That's the
but he definitely followed and excelled. My brother is one who studies music,
Okay.
and not in the normal definition of study.
Okay.
When I say study, listens every day, all day.
Okay.
Always trying to better himself, listening to different people.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Cool. Well, we're gonna get to the artistry part of Poe, if I can call you that. I feel like I can.
Yes, sir. Yes,
now.
sir.
But I want to state, like, we look at everything through the lens of fatherhood on this show,
Right.
and talk about the relationship with your father, man. Because I know what I think. To have something that special in common with your dad, I can only imagine. I only know what I think that relationship would be like.
Okay.
But let's talk about like how did you see your dad growing up? What was the relationship like?
My dad's a hustler.
Okay.
And I saw it back in the day. And I actually get to the part my dad's blind, but I feel it's for a reason. Back then, when we were younger, my dad had a number of jobs. Mm-hmm. He had his own business. He was a computer technician, and he was also a musician, and also, just a regular 9 to 5. But his schedule was crazy. He'd wake up early, go drop off computers that he'd fixed the night before, go to his 9 to 5. After 9 to 5, remember I told you a lot of those days was at church or at some type of rehearsal. Mm-hmm. We would go to those rehearsals, and he'll be there for a number of hours, only to come, leave there, get us something to eat, get us situated. He go home, work on some more computers. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Before that, after he drop us off, he go drop off some more computers.
Gotcha.
Then go pick up some computers and come, like, stuff like that. Come back home, fix on those computers or fix on computers that he be working on. And in the meantime, still try to find time to kind of get some practice in on the keyboard.
Yeah.
My dad was also a gaming fan. So he used to be on his PC playing like GTA and stuff like that late at night, only to go to sleep, wake up early, repeat. Yeah. So my dad was a hustler. That's all we ever knew of my father.
Right.
He was going to get it. So it didn't really become like a really, really, really close connection until maybe after I went to college.
Oh, okay.
Because he was there. He was present, provided, did everything. He was a great father, still is. But it got a little heightened after college or whatever. And
you recall why?
More time on his hands.
Gotcha.
Especially when he lost his sight.
Okay.
Couldn't work. The only thing he could do was still play the keyboard. Funny. My dad used to always play the keyboard and do his hair like Stevie Wonder, and now he do it for real.
Wow.
So, like, he used to always do stuff like that, but, like, he has time to sit and practice on the keyboard. He also has a condition called gastroparesis. This is what keeps him, and he literally just got out the hospital yesterday. I went to go get him from Mansfield Medical.
Wow.
He has gastroparesis, which basically is a stomach disease, and I may be a little bit off, but basically everything doesn't digest the way that it's supposed to, and it gives you horrible stomach pains, nausea, and on top of that, like he already has kidney failure, congestive heart failure, diabetes, high blood pressure, and it's a number of other things.
Wow.
But it's the joy, man. It's the joy that really keeps me in tune, and the fact that I want to see him happy.
Yeah.
So when nowadays the relationship has everything to do with his happiness. So I want to see him smiling as much as I can, because I know there are going to be days where he's in pain.
Yeah.
He's nauseated. He's doing this, and we probably got to take him to the ER. He's probably going to be in there a couple of days or so. So now I take it upon myself to make sure that that relationship stays close by just, being present.
Yeah.
The company is everything to him, especially since he's at home 6 days a week, not really doing nothing. Yeah, it's.
Did his vision decline over time, or was it more surprised than expected?
It was a surprise after we found out what it was. It was him not taking care of his diabetes. So when it happened, he was already kind of losing his sight. When we found out he was legally blind, he had got into an accident. He ran into the back of a water truck and like tore his car up. And we found out he was legally blind after that. So after that, he still kind of had his vision, technically. But over time, it started getting a little more dim. And eventually it went from I can see images with a lot of light to like just a black spot.
Do you remember how his personality shifted, if at all?
More grateful than anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Not that that's the wrong answer. I'm just
No. Yeah.
really...
I'm only saying that. I'm not saying that he wasn't grateful then, but with all that stuff that you're going through, you have no reason but to be thankful and grateful that you still have breath to breathe.
You're right. I don't disagree with you at all. I'm processing it as you're saying it, because I can tell the job that he did by your expression right now,
right.
Like the way you see that.
Right.
He did a great job. Not slighting your mom. They both did a great job. What did that? How did that impact you? The way that he dealt with it, and that's where I was going with it.
How did it impact me?
How did it impact you? The way that he handled adversity. You've kind of answered it, not answering it, but like recapping what you saw in him. But what is that like? That's a lot to do. As you were listing the things, that's like all of the stereotypical things that black people get, right? And as soon as you said diabetes, my eyes went up because I'm diabetic. Right. And it's and my dad has had cancer. His dad died of cancer, and I'm in that age range where these things were happening, where either his dad died or where he found out he had cancer, and like life changes around those things. And I didn't realize what I learned from my father until I started doing like this podcast. And that's not a shameless plug. We didn't have the communication.
No, so for sure. I know for a fact one of the things that I learned from him was the hustle. And it's only because we saw it every day. Now, he's still, like, to this day, what I consider a hustler. Mm-hmm. He's in school for the blind right now. And, like, the reason why he's doing this is because it's still money out there to be made. Yeah. They have jobs for the blind, like especially IT jobs, if this is what you do. Mm-hmm. He's been doing that for years. So like it takes nothing for him to graduate and get back into the idea of working.
Wow.
He don't want to stop. But I think that's what I was saying when I went back to saying I feel like God warned him to be blind because he was doing way too much. Either God had to take that sight, or you were gonna overwork yourself into a situation that you didn't want to be worked in. And I feel like it's a great thing that my dad is sitting down without an option. Like he's at home for the most part every day, watching TV, in his chair. He has this little shows he likes to watch. He still does everything though. He still cooks. He'll go out there and work on his car. He still got his car too.
Okay.
And he's like, I mean, he believes he's gonna see again, so he still works on that car all the time. So he'll be out there working on his car. He'll be on the keyboard, just to keep himself busy. But he needed that sit down time because he was doing, when I say a hustler, like around the clock.
Yeah.
So yeah, like he needed that sit down. But I feel like what I learned from it is I have to learn when to slow down.
So it kind of leads into my next question. Like, what kind of pressure does that put on you and your brother to have an example that didn't fold to circumstances? Like you literally have no excuses,
Right.
that are worth talking about. And
But I don't think it's any pressure because my father always made it a fact of it not to be. Yeah, I'm not living to be what he was.
yeah,
Live to be what God wanted me to be.
yeah,
So and that's when that's why I'm a big stickler for creativity. My parents always put that in us. God put everything in you to be a you and not a nobody else. So it's my dad did phenomenal. But God didn't make me to be Windsor David Turner II. He made me to be Windsor Turner III. So, like, yeah, I learned a lot, but I'm not stressed over wanting to be everything that I saw in him. No.
Yeah.
Because there are certain things that I learned from seeing in him that I want to put into my own livelihood.
Right.
Like learning how to sit down.
that's a skill.
You got to learn how to do that sometimes because you're going to overwork yourself. You're going to I've done it before with just scheduling. You're doing too much.
Yeah,
Sit down. Sometimes you need that sit down time. And I have a friend right now named Jess. She's always telling me, sit down, write. Just everything that's in your head, right.
yeah,
Sometimes we got to do that.
yeah.
I can't. I mean, my dad did great. Like I said, don't take that from him. But he could have sat down sometime.
Right.
So I don't feel that pressure. I don't think my brother feels that pressure either.
God put in you everything you need to be you. I've always said everybody else is taken to be the best you. Let's talk about who you are, and we can start wherever you want. Right, we're going to ultimately get to the artistry.
Okay.
Let me back up. Is there a difference between you and the artist?
No. That's weird.
Yeah.
Because we had the conversation about asking something that I would have been having to think about. Yeah, there's no difference. I was going to say something like maybe I'm more vocal as an artist. But I'm vocal in like my everyday living.
Yeah,
I don't think there is.
gotcha.
I don't think there is.
So since that one is saying, that makes for an easier conversation. Who are you? What do you what inspires you as an individual that ultimately shows up in your music?
Great.
And we're going to get to a snippet at some point. But you're and again, I am not the music executive, the mogul, or the person that says what goes or what doesn't. Right. But I know when I hear some crap. Right. And I know when something's a gimmick and it has a shelf life. That's only a few thousand spins before it's dead. But there's something that shows up in your music, period, right? And then when I learned that you actually wrote it, it's like, okay, what is that? I don't even know if there's a process because it's your life, but how do you arrive at one, being in the zone to write something? Like when does something make sense, or when does something arrest your attention that says, right, other than that person that you just referenced?
So it could be a number of things. It can be just the feel good factor. My artistry is definitely one that I mirror off of that feel good factor.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain artists that you listen to that whenever a record comes on, you just feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jackson,
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder, my favorite artist of all time. I'm not
It's safe. You're safe here.
R. Kelly. Now listen, "Step in the Name of Love" is songs like that when you hear it,
That's fine.
it's a feel good factor. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
the artist.
That's because the reality is, if you peel back anybody's life, you're gonna find something that you not that I'm normalized. Let's move off.
Yeah. So the feel
music
good
piece
factor
itself, I get.
Yeah. So there are certain artists that you hear. It's a classic. It's going to make you feel
Hold on.
good.
I hate that I actually still feel good about that.
It's like that.
Yeah.
It's really like that. But that's just the music aspect.
Yeah.
But there are artists that make you feel good. Now, I make music to make me feel good for just the fact that like it's too much craziness going on in the world.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to sit back and be able to listen to something that just make you bob your head and smile.
Right.
The other part of that is just going through stuff. We were talking about one of the records that I did here,
Yeah.
and it's just like it's just my life, but not just me. I know a lot of people deal with it.
Yeah.
So it can be that feel good factor. It can be life, or it can just be something that I'm just really. I have a crazy imagination, so I always like people like Pharrell, people like Timberland.
That's where I'm from now.
Like all of that. Like they have certain sounds in their music that's just like it's out of this world.
It feels like they literally plucked it out of their imagination.
Exactly. NERD.
Yeah.
I am a fan.
Nothing ever really dies. Or is it nothing or no one? Nothing or no one.
It's one of I would have had it. But yeah, so like they really make music from creativity.
Yeah.
So it's those three things. It's going to be life, it's going to be feel good factor, and it's going to be just the creativity of things that makes my artistry what it is.
Yeah. Let's stay on the song that you did here at Banger Boy Studio that made me a believer.
Yes, sir.
It's twofold. Because Susie Carmichael, I heard that and I was like, oh, okay, this boy does it. And then I was in the studio when he was actually singing part of the runs and all that. I said, oh, okay, this ain't computer tricks. But then, and taking nothing away from that, dope song, go run it up, play it every day, all day.
Just release.
Download it, pay for it, send it to somebody, do all of the above.
Shut up.
But the other side.
And people don't even know what the other side is going to be. I might make that my second single. We're
Only because you already have one single out?
Yeah.
Like it's not a choice between the two, right?
No. So Susie Carmichael was going to be the single regardless.
Okay.
Only because of the what it feels for my artistry. Yeah,
I get it. It's a dope song. Again, I'm not.
Yeah. No. I get you.
This is like
I had like two or three
favorite child
people,
conversation, right?
Right. Yeah. I had 2 or 3 people tell me the same thing. So the other side, that's gonna tug on some people.
I'm people.
It's definitely gonna tug on people, as it should, because it tugged on me when I made it.
As it should. How old are you?
31.
Ooh. You were born in the wrong decade.
I was born
kind of
90.
You was born when you're supposed to be born, but what I'm saying is like tug on people as it should. That's not a criteria for a lot of the. I shouldn't even say a lot of the. No, I know I can say a lot of the music that I hear by accident,
right?
Because I'm one. I got to control my music,
right?
Like, I only hear other things because I'm not in control of my music. But it doesn't seem like like it has to tug. Like even regardless of what era you claim is your favorite, you prefer. Like I've always been attached to music that had some kind of meaning that I could pull something from, even if my interpretation was off. I had to feel something. I've never been the like I just need the bob.
Yeah,
right. And
the 70s and 80s soul did that.
Yeah,
did just that.
Yeah. Why is it important to you though?
What
that has to have a fit, like people have to feel it.
Because I mean, if I can't feel it, then why am I making it? Like, I mean, I get it. You want to make music to make money, but that's not my main reason. Yes, if the money comes with it, hopefully the money comes with it. But that's just an added factor. Music is more than just money to me. Music has to feel and mean something to me.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have some meaning on somebody. I wanted to have some definition when people hear it. Like, I want them to think about it. Like, dang, the other side, like, dang, I wasn't even thinking about old girl like that, or I wouldn't even think about that job like that, or maybe like sometimes like we may be trying to overthink something, trying to move too fast, and sometimes like the grass ain't always green over there. Like sometimes like you just need to sit and stay in and dwell in that season, because that's where I was. Yeah. Sometimes you have to dwell in that season, and like if music can make you sit and think and be therapeutic, then it's doing something. It's not just for the money.
And it has a life, man. I think it
has a heartbeat.
It's something about music that transcends time, and I'm not just talking about sonically. I'm talking about, again, that feeling that you get. There's certain songs or certain artists that I can go back to that make me feel the same way today, even 20 years more mature.
Right.
Maybe it resonates differently, but it still resonates in some way. I think this is a let's play a snippet of The Other Side.
Okay.
I would love to say you heard it here first. I'll say you heard it here first.
Nah, you definitely can say you heard it here first.
I just feel like that. But we're gonna give them I don't know how the labels work. Let me say that. So we're only gonna do about 15 seconds, but let's give them that.
Yes, sir.
The grass ain't always greener on the other side. It may seem more cleaner, oh, in the public side. We see the same thing, but my vision's colorblind. And if you're a real one, then it's no need for otherwise. I think you're golden, but these colors is hard to find. But since I am colorblind, it's hard to really see anything about the other side. The other side, the other side. Oh.
Bruh, The Other Side. That's you. No, that was you singing on that.
Yes.
Does it? Do you surprise yourself sometimes? Like that was you actually on that.
Let me tell you why it doesn't surprise me.
Talk that talk.
I sat and wrote that.
Yeah.
My writing process is not just writing some stuff down. I sat and I had to dwell with that writing that I told you my friend told me to sit and do. When I write lyrics, sometimes that does that for me. So the writing of that, I'm not surprised. The singing, I don't even really consider myself a singer for real. That kind of surprises.
You don't consider yourself, or you're not? Are you more passionate about writing? Or are both true?
Both can be true.
You said, I don't consider myself a singer. That's what I'm addressing.
Yeah,
I don't consider myself a singer, right? And that's true.
So me being a music kid, it can go multiple ways. Interpretation, I consider myself a singer. Me being an artist and a musician, I consider myself an artist. Me singing, man, I know singers.
As do I.
I know singers, but I don't consider myself what they do.
So here's the thing. Comparison is a thief of joy, right? So part of the genius to me, when I evaluate a singer, which means nothing to nobody, I'm very aware of that. Hold your comments. Is knowing where your style and ability fits into a pocket.
Okay.
And making that work, right? And I'm not talking about you got two notes that you know, and then we engineer everything else around it and bend it.
Right.
So you know what you do, and you match that with the feeling like that. Your tone matches the songs that I've heard. Now I know you probably would do reference tracks and other stuff like that where you're trying to get it off and send it to somebody.
Right.
And that's a skill. But what I'm saying is my evaluation is based on that. Not he does this, but Brian McKnight does this, or PJ Morton does this, or Daryl Coley does. Like at some point you gotta stop because some people are just otherworldly.
Yeah, you're right.
Like Daryl Coley, he's I don't know where he's from. You know what I mean? Marvin Winans is my favorite singer, period.
Wow.
And he doesn't have the hits.
Wow.
He does not have no disrespect.
No,
but
yeah.
No,
I get it.
I mean,
I feel that only because I've said close to that specific statement. But I've never heard anybody else say that. Wow. Yeah. No, you're definitely right. I guess when you put it like that, you're right. I just don't. I don't like going around telling people I'm a singer. If they like what comes out of my mouth, I let them declare it.
I respect that.
I'll be an artist all day.
I respect that.
I'll be a writer. Let's take that back. Not an artist. I actually didn't want to be an artist.
Okay.
Still technically don't. But some of the guys that I'm kind of under, he was like, if this is the lane that you got to go in to get to where you want to be, take it. Because I just want to write. I don't want the fame. I don't want to be in front of people. Just let me write.
Doesn't it happen in reverse in many cases? Well, I don't have the stats.
It's actually 50-50.
Wow.
You have people that start off writing, and then later become. You know who Kevin Ross is?
Yeah, Dinah Ross is, but his holiday album is one of my favorites too. I don't even want to play myself trying to sing this Christmas song, but that's how I start my holiday season.
Yeah, but he literally started writing, doing a whole lot of writing for people. PJ Morton, before he was actually an artist, he was writing for Men of Standard and all of them. Like,
what's the guy that came out of Men of Standard with that distinctive voice?
Fred Hammond. Is it Fred or
Fred wasn't? Fred was
John P. Key? Oh, no, wait.
It's gonna come to me. It's gonna come to me. Not important, but it just like you. So you walking down my my musical history.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Commission, Take Six, the Winans,
Take Six, Six. Yes,
different.
My dad grew up on this.
Yeah,
this like. Everybody that you're naming, outside of the
Hawkins family,
smooth jazz,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
not even that. The McClurkin Project,
okay,
like it's these type of. I get you. I grew up on that too, but only because my dad's a musician, so like he had to learn.
I was a choir director, so they just always
right there.
They just sing the songs.
Yeah,
but I kind of took you out. You'd rather be a writer.
Writer, yeah. PJ start off writing. I was looking at Neo. Neo was writing for a lot of people.
Yeah, I prefer.
A lot of people do. But Neo is a crazy writer. Mm-hmm. And I don't care if you know me.
Right.
I don't care. As long as I can make my living and provide for my family and feel comfortable with what I get from writing.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta know my name. You ain't got to know my face. You ain't got to follow me. You ain't got to know somebody that know me. I'm good.
Make sure
I'm literally somebody you see in a grocery store.
Yeah. Make sure that publishing hit.
I can write. And the main reason I want to write is for that feel-good factor. Like, I remember when music felt good. Nowadays, I mean, let's be real. It's really tough.
I'll say this, and this just hit me. It's probably tough because we have the perspective of what came before it. Right? So if you never listened to what was in your parents' era and you only had yours, maybe you would appreciate it differently. Right. I have to say, like wherever your musical journey started, if you didn't go back before that, you feel some kind of way based on what you've been exposed to.
Right.
What's been your journey like in the music business, right? Because we've been talking a lot about passion and purpose, but there's a business to it as well, right? And that takes some people out. Like, what's been your experience, or yeah, what's been your experience in that way? Like, what parts of it can you do without?
It's weird because the parts that I would do without are the parts that's needed for gratitude and, like the conversation we're having. The parts I can do without the business side is the letdownness.
How much of that is on you, and how much of that is on the offender?
I had to realize it's not about me. It's about business. You remember Playing Skills from out of here? They're from Irving, and they were real big.
Bro, I'm from Virginia.
Oh,
yeah,
right. So Playing
I just
Skills
heard about Zero 2 days ago.
Playing Skills are a big group. And they were actually globally for a while. They were actually two Hispanic brothers out of Irving, Texas. And I'm telling you, cut records with Pitbull, Snoop, like everybody. They were real big. So my cousin went to school with them. They graduated either MacArthur or Irving. But I had a couple of meetings with them about signing. Went to a party with them. My cousin brought me. I'm under the assumption that I am getting signed. But when it didn't happen, I was let down.
What age were you at this?
I was young.
Okay.
22, 23, something like that. And I understand it's business, not necessarily what I think my ability is. But you know what? That probably wasn't meant for me.
Right.
Which is why I say when you ask that, like I don't look at it and think it's me, it's business, because it's kind of like I know I'm dope.
Talk that.
But that probably wasn't for me.
Right.
That lane would have probably destroyed me. Just gotta learn how to take your feelings out of stuff.
Is that a negotiation, like an internal negotiation process? Because is there a need to get hyped, like unbounded? Like you want to? Is it hard to believe that things are going to happen after you get those letdowns, or do you find a way to take it in stride?
Keep writing.
Yeah.
Keep writing and keep going. Like I was still writing. I was still going. At that time, I was more into performing poetry. That was another job of mine. So I am not gonna lie. It probably pushed me to be like, maybe I'm not an artist. Maybe I just need to do this poetry.
Right.
And I started going hard on that all the way up until COVID.
So I'm asking, maybe an obvious question. That's where the name came from?
Yes.
So the name came from the actual spoken word art before the music?
Yes.
Gotcha. So you are a writer.
Poetry. Yes. Writing is my everything. Yeah. I my actual theater teacher, my speech and debate teacher, he's actually watching now.
Dope.
I was taking all those public speaking and writing classes.
Yeah.
Just because that's what I love to do. So when it came down to the artistry versus the poetry, I'm getting booked. I'm getting booked around the city. I'm getting booked back home. I'm getting booked other places up until the point where I signed with a management. And they kind of pulled back on some of the performing because it wasn't paying. Like it was doing more poetry slams than anything. He was like, "Yeah, you don't need to be doing this for free."
Gotcha.
So that was where I gained the beginning of my real artistry, the poetry aspect.
Gotcha.
So I like to think a lot of my lyrics are poetic driven, which a lot of rap and stuff is, but I'm more into with the artist and the poet that I was as a performer into my artistry.
Gotcha. So I know you're working on a project now, and I want to get to that before we start to wind down.
Right.
Commercial break.
Right.
commercial break, comma, what's the full name?
So this one coming out, it's going to be commercial break and truffle fries. So
I mean,
I can explain it.
I mean, no whole truffle fries.
Truffle fries is my favorite
Bust, you know?
side thing ever, right after fried okra.
Breaded or slimy?
Breaded. Slimy only in my gumbo.
We gonna have to look at our family tree and figure this thing out. But go ahead.
Yeah,
Commercial break
so
and truffle fries.
Commercial break and truffle fries will be this installment of my project. It will be the first commercial break that is on all streaming platforms. Previously, I did commercial break on an app, and then I did it on SoundCloud. The first commercial break. So this will be the first one that'll be on all streaming platforms. But I literally called it commercial break and truffle fries because I literally enjoy what's coming of this.
Gotcha.
As much as I do truffle fries. So it's just another installment. But the reason for commercial break in general is because when all this stuff was going on with the riots, killing of the black people, unarmed black men, Trump, all this stuff was going on.
Still going on.
Still going on. You're right. Still going on. But at that time, it was a protest every other week.
Yeah.
And along with the fact that I was literally getting to a point to where I was tired of listening to radio, I made it like a double whammy. Sometimes I feel like we need a commercial break away from life just to sit back and enjoy something other than face reality. Reality is going to be there, but if we can take just a step outside for fresh air, like I feel like that's needed. But also for the radio, commercial break was meant to play something other than what you would normally hear on your everyday play. Because it was a time, still may be, that what's on the radio.
I don't know because, like I said, it's got to be by accident. And normally my wife is driving.
Trash.
Yeah.
So I'd much rather you pay attention to the commercial breaks than what's actually playing.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, than what's actually playing on like the everyday streaming. So it's kind of like, and then to be real, it was one day that I was actually listening to one of the commercials, and it was kind of like, this seemed more interesting than what's on the radio.
Wow.
So that's what came a commercial break. It was just like I was tired of hearing what was on the radio, and then I was tired of everything that was going on. Like I just needed a break away from normality. Like I just, man,
I get that.
Yeah.
Any how close are you to completing it?
So I have right now 18 tracks that are,
it's a long commercial.
but all of them are not recorded in the studio. I use this app called BandLab, and it basically lets me get my idea off. I just have 18 tracks. I probably have like half of them recorded, but I have to dwindle down to 7.
Okay.
So it's going to be 7 tracks: an intro, an interlude, and an outro. Excuse me. And it's a tough process.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
because a lot of that stuff took hard work, and if it don't make the album, it's kind of like, okay, maybe it'll make the next one, or am I even going to do a next one? Whatever. So we got to figure that out. I'm thinking I want this album out before January 1st.
Okay. Cool. Well, you definitely have a supporter here.
Appreciate you.
Platform is not the biggest, but it is very intentional and it's growing. So we want to make sure that we highlight people that are doing meaningful things, especially black men, right? Because we need more of that. It's something I want my son to see. As we close. Oh, before we close out, when you drop, when you come back. Come back on the show when you drop? Okay.
Definitely.
I know we had some offline conversations about some other concepts that hopefully we can work out and bring to fruition. But as we close this portion of the conversation, which I definitely appreciate, you You were born at the right time in the wrong era, for whatever that means.
It's all good.
What you want the people to know about you, man? The people that only tuned in to this part of the interview, this conversation. I just said I don't do interviews. The people that just happen to click on it and catch this part, what do you want them to know about you?
I'm a creative. At the end of the day, I love music. I love realness. I love being able to make people smile, make people able to feel good. I'm just here, I feel like, to put a smile on people's face. By whatever comes with that. That's my whole mantra, if you will, on living.
Yeah.
So my music is going to be heavily filled with feel good.
Yeah.
Which is why I did commercial break and truffle fries. It's a fun topic.
Yeah.
Like, it's not serious. I don't want to slander nobody. Get rich or die trying. That's real. That's real. It's real hard. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of albums out there that's real hard. Let's have fun. Let's smile.
Yeah.
Let's dwell in the moment that isn't necessarily the best, but let's make the best of what we got with it.
Got it.
So that's me. And shoot, man, let's get to this money.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you making the best of my afternoon. This has been a rewarding and fulfilling conversation with me. To my listening audience, if you have not, follow, subscribe, like whatever platform you're on dictates. What are you doing with your life? It's for you. I think this was a great installment of meaningful conversation and more upbeat than my normal conversation, man. I know we have a lot of conversations about tough things about fatherhood, which are necessary too, but I also want to highlight all of what we are.
One more thing, just to jump back to your podcast. First of all, phenomenal podcast.
Appreciate you.
My parents, they have a nonprofit called By Faith, Not Sight. It stemmed from my father. There was a viral video on my father that went around about 2 years ago, super viral. Everybody posted it, from Shaq, ESPN, news channels, pastors overseas preaching about it. But it was basically the blind man that hit the free throw outside on Labor Day. That was my father. So he, yeah, we'll definitely get that. I got you. So they created a nonprofit for it called By Faith, Not Sight, since he's blind.
Yep.
Basically, I just wanted to also say, if you have anyone in your family or any loved ones or any friends that are going through things and you feel like you're alone going through those things, as my family could have felt without the attachment of other loves around, whether it's sickness, whether it's monetary, whether it's whatever it could be, their nonprofit basically goes over and beyond to try to help those families in need.
Dope.
So if you ever feel like you just need someone to talk to, you need somebody to pray for you, you need somebody to, just be there and kind of help you, guide you through this season, because that's exactly what it is. It's a season. It's not going to last forever.
Yeah.
I want to let you know that now, just to bring a little bit of smile for your day.
Yep.
Their prophet, By Faith Not Sight, will definitely lead you and help you into a more pleasurable moment in that season. And you can find them on Instagram, Facebook, By Faith Not Sight, and they'll help you with that as well. And that's driven by my father. That's the only reason why I kind of brought that back up.
Absolutely, man. So that's on the screen now. If you're watching, if you're listening, it's also linked below. If you're watching, it's linked below as well. We'll make sure that information is there. So if you need any of the assistance that Poe just referenced, or if you need somewhere to sow a seed, you got some extra coins laying around. These nonprofits don't mean that they don't need money invested. So we'll have that information below. It will have nothing to do with anything coming to me or Poe. It'll be going straight to that organization. Sow a seed.
All right.
That's going to do it. We appreciate you guys. God bless you. Peace.
Yeah.
Out you. How you feel?
It feels good. It feels good.